good evening, Team De La Cruz. Kumusta kayo? How are you?
We're okay. Actually, we survived also. The entire family went through COVID also. Pero mild symptoms lang naman kami. Kaya blessing ng Panginoon. And it's also an experience that allowed us to see His faithfulness and goodness. Hindi lang sa amin, pero sa mga bata. Ayun.
Yes. Mabuti na lang, no? We are all survivors. Okay, so we did not introduce you, Ate Donna and Kuya Des. So we'll give this time to allow you to introduce yourself. Share naman to our participants a bit of a background about yourself, you as a couple and the family. Yes, sige.
Papakilala mo na nga kami, no? So, my name is Des.
Ako naman si Donna.
And together, we are called Des and Donna. Ayan. So, thank you. Okay, so, ako muna. Sabay na kami, no? Sabay na kami. Sige, so, we are parents of 3 boys. Our eldest is now 17. The second one is 15. And then our youngest is 10 years old. So medyo masaya. Kasi meron kaming senior high, junior high, at saka grade school. Tapos we are a homeschooling family. Not because of pandemic, but ever since na nag-kinder yung aming eldest, so we have been homeschooling for about 11 years na rin. 12 daw. 12 years. So we've been homeschooling for 12 years na. It's a common decision between me and Donna when we were just starting the family during that time. Siguro later, baka pwede pa namin ikwento further, no? But basically, our reason for homeschooling the kids would be to instill good values, character formation. By the way, kaming dalawa rin kasi ni Donna came from, both of us, no, came from CYA when we were still in college. Doon kami nagkakilala sa CYA. Pero hindi kami may disclaimer agad yun. Tapos we've been friends for about 10 or more than 10 years before we realized that God's calling us to be together. So nung nasa CY kami nun, magkapatid kami. Yan. Kaya nung nalaman ng mga kaibigan namin na kami na, nagulat sila. Okay.
So in terms, nabanggit nga ni Des kanina that we are a homeschooling family. In line with that, so ako ay isang housewife at my husband naman is the one working for us. And ano pa ba? Naka-base kami dito sa Lipa. Ayun lang siguro for introduction muna.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sige. Medyo mag-start na tayo, Kuya Des.
Sige.
Take it away.
Okay. Number 1 po. In terms of parenting, what are the foundations or basic principles that you uphold in the family?
Basic principles. Sige. Siguro para sa mga parents and would-be parents, mga kasama natin ngayon. When short introduction ulit on nung in-invite kasi kami ni Jane if we can share with you our experience as parents. Siguro if this happened 5 years ago or 8 years ago, ganyan, magde-decline talaga kami dun sa invitation. Kasi being parents, may mga stage talaga siya eh. Actually, when we were answering yung kanina, yung survey, yung activity natin kanina na in-introduce ng Team Cruzat, marami kaming ang sagot namin doon,
It depends.
It depends. Talaga, it depends.
We neither agree or disagree.
Maraming yan, neither agree or disagree. But maganda yung question ni Ian. Basic principle, kasi yun din yung sinasabi namin sa kids namin. Yung from generation to generation, nagbabago kasi yung what is in or what is the trend. Pero what doesn't change is yung values. Hindi magbabago yan. Whatever happens, what is right is right. What is wrong is always wrong. Pero siguro the way we do things, yun siguro nagbabago. Hindi natin pwedeng ipa-implement ngayon sa mga bata na dapat pagdating ng 6 o'clock,
Wala ng gadget.
wala ng gadget. We have learned over the years na they now live in a different generation. They are called digital citizen. Tama ba?
Natives.
And digital natives. So meaning it's now part of their culture. That's part of their generation that they have to use gadgets. Pero kung i-compare natin sa generation natin ngayon, sa generation natin noon, when we were still growing up, when we were still in that stage, bawal yun, di ba? Parang dapat hindi ka masyadong babad sa TV. Dapat hindi ka masyadong naglalaro ng family computer. Family computer pa kami. Yun. So, principle, importante sa amin that basically, yun din siguro yung reason why we are homeschooling, kasi we want to instill good values and to form their character.
I-add ko lang dun sa sinasabi ni Des with regards to screen time and computer time. Siguro when he was answering, he was who he has in mind would be yung teenagers namin. Pero syempre yung screen time would be depending pa rin sa age ng bata. And for age 1 to 2 years old, as actually hanggang 3 years old, hanggang maaari, 0 pa rin naman din talaga yung gadget time. Ang tinutukoy niya would be the elder children na teenagers. Yan yung mga tipong at this stage, especially during the pandemic and them needing to socialize with other people. Kasi sa kanila ang gadget, kung sa atin, nung panahon namin pala, hindi pala sa atin, nung panahon namin, pag sinabi mong screen time, parang entertainment lang yan, parang ganun, laro lang yan. Pero sa kanila, it is actually where they learn, it's where they socialize, kaya iba ang rules sa kanila. Going back to Ian's going back to Ian's question kanina, with regards to yung basic principles na I think first and foremost is love for God pa rin. It's something na we put in ourselves as individuals, and it's also something na alam namin, yun din yung gusto namin na meron yung mga anak namin. Na pag halimbawa meron silang pagmamahal at takot sa Panginoon, kahit na minsan mali kami as parents, kung alam namin na may takot sila sa Panginoon, we know that God would be guiding them. Actually, meron kaming mga disciplining moments na hindi sila makikinig sa amin. Pero we would tell them na, okay, wag na kami yung pakinggan mo. It's not us telling you. How about what God is telling you? Pag gano'n na yung usapan, kita mo magbabago agad yung usapan, yung flow ng usapan. Kaya I think that is one of the basic would be love for God. Love for God para sa mga bata, and for us parents, love for God, kaya natin ginagawa yung parenting style na gusto ng Panginoon. Kasama rin doon, syempre sa love for God, nakalinya na rin doon yung respect, honesty, and kindness. Yun, tatlong sa house namin. Ayun po.
Yan, sige, thank you. And you already mentioned earlier about parenting style, no? Specifically, for in your family, what kind of parenting style ba do you implement? I suppose it's different kasi you have 3 boys, right? So how do you do, or what's your parenting style in the family?
Yeah. Kasi tama yung question na baka magkakaiba depending on the age level. We have learned also na hanggang age 12, that's the time na to establish yung sort of like an authority as parents. Why? Kasi you wouldn't expect na a child na 12 and below would be knowledgeable enough to know what is right between right and wrong. Nasa formative stage pa rin sila, and you have to be able to establish that authority rin for them to listen. Hindi ano siya, don't get me wrong na parang you're the boss, kailangan ako yung sundin mo. But more of being there to guide them. Kasi pag after ng 12 years old, there's nandiyan na yung level na questionin na yung authority. So i-challenge na rin yung authority mo. So if you're successful hanggang age 12 to be able to establish yon na you are an authority as parents. Next stage would be befriending kasi. So kapag nandun na sila sa teenage years, hindi na kasi uubra yung
100% authority.
Oo. Kasi alam natin yun, lahat tayo dumaan sa pagiging teenager. Lahat tayo dumaan sa stage na because of hormonal changes sa atin, whether it be male or female, no? Dumadating talaga tayo sa stage na yun na gusto natin magkaroon ng independence, gusto natin na mag-decide for our own, gusto natin mag-explore, gusto natin na magkaroon ng freedom, quote-unquote. Yan. So kapag nandun na sa stage na yon, kinakailangan na ma-establish naman yung pagiging friend and yung trust nung anak mo sa'yo. So just to share with you also, we believe in disciplining our kids. When yung dalawang kuyas namin, both teenagers na ngayon, we believe na nakakatulong yung pagpalo. Pero merong malaking pero yun eh. Unang-una, kinakailangan maipaliwanag mo na namin sa kanila. Ako kasi as a father, ako yung dapat na mag-discipline din sa dalawang kuyas during that time. Kailangan ko mo munang hatakin sa room yung anak ko. Tapos, syempre umiiyak na siya. Tapos ikaw naman sa father, nadudurog na yung puso mo. Kasi kasi papaluin mo siya. So, i-explain mo sa kanya mabuti na alam mo why I'm going to spank you. So, kailangan explain ko sa kanya. Tapos after that, papaluin ko siya and then kakausapin ko ulit siya. Kailangan ko i-assure sa kanya na mahal kita. Hindi kita pinalo dahil galit ako, but pinalo kita dahil gusto kong itama yung mali. There has to be a physical manifestation for them to remember kung ano yung sinasabi mo. Parang isang bata na halimbawa pag nadapa at nasaktan siya, alam niya na masakit yung madapa. So kapag pinalo siya dahil halimbawa nagsinungaling, yun yung number one rule yan. Nobody will tell a lie. Kapag nag-lie ka, palo. Yun yung sa amin nun. Ngayon, hindi na pwede paluin yung mga kuya. Lampas na sila sa stage na yun. Pero yun yung tumanim sa utak nila yun na kahit mapagalitan ka, still, you have to tell the truth. So, yun, pag bata pa. Pero kapag malaki na sila, hindi na applicable yun. Kasi tatawanan ka na lang niya pag pinalo mo siya. So, kay David, yung bunso namin, 10 years old, and it still works somewhat, pero slowly, we have to get rid of that na rin. Kinakailangan at this stage na form na siya agad.
Okay. In terms of parenting style, from what we have learned also, malaking contribution dyan ang background natin individually kung paano tayo lumaki. For example, in my family, namamalo yung parents ko. Sa family ni Des, nambubugbog. And then, napapalo rin siya kasi nung lumalaki siya. So ang point kasi, ang default parate is to copy kung ano yung parenting style ng parents mo, kung ano yung kinalakihan mo. Kasi one way or the other, you feel like na lumaki naman akong medyo okay, so siguro it works, medyo ganon. So nung mga bata pa, when the younger years ng mga anak namin, we did opt to spank with rules. Like for example, bawal mamalo pag galit. Kailangan hindi ka galit. Number 2, hindi ka basta-basta mamamalo kasi dapat consequence niya na napag-usapan yung ng anak mo bago mo siya. Hindi lang siya ikaw ang nag-implement. It's something that you two agreed on na doon yun pupunta. However, I don't know, pamamalo is, or yung being strict in a certain sense, hindi lang siya nakadepende sa age bracket kasi ang sa amin dati, yung pamamalo namin, yung topic na is nung medyo bata pa sila na hindi mo, you cannot reason with them yet. Hindi pa sila marunong umintindi kung bakit. By the time na nakita namin that we can reason with them, that's the time that we stopped it. Ito ay yung sa mga anak namin. Noong panahon nila, iba yung mga bata ngayon. So we cannot say that that is totally wrong, that worked for us, but we cannot also recommend it for everyone. Sa kung paano tayo iba't iba as individuals, and we're also coming from different backgrounds, you have to ascertain also and also discern kung ano yung magiging parenting style ninyo. Kasi sa iba't iba ang households, kasi iba't iba ang tao na kaloob ng households. Iba't iba ng personality, iba't iba ng backgrounds na pinanggalingan. Iba't iba ng resiliency also. So, kaya hindi ko, when we say that namalo kami ng bata, it doesn't necessarily have to be that it's wrong, but it doesn't necessarily have to be right. Depende po yan, pagdasal natin, i-discern natin ng husay kung ano po yung mahusay para sa bawat household. And then from there, kasi yung sinasabi ni Des na 1 to 12 years old, that is very crucial for us as parents. It's what we say na window period, kung kailan talaga natin mai-instill sa kanila yung values, yung rules. Bakit importante yung 1 to 12 years old? Kasi yan yung period na they really look up to you as the sole authority as parents, yung age na yan. Pagdating kasi ng teenage years, naghahanap na yan ng ibang authority, ang teachers nila, peers nila, o kung sino man. So nahahaluan na. That is why it is very important that 1 to 12 years old na instill nyo sa kanila kung ano yung values para in a way pag medyo lenient na yung yung parenting nyo pagdating ng 13 onwards, alam nila kung ano yung tama at mali. So 1 to 12 years old is very instrumental in building rituals sa bahay, kung ano yung tama at mali, yung values. Kasi sa rituals din siya and din na-perform yung talagang bond ninyo as a family. Na pag nag-teenage years na sila at malalaki na sila, yun yung babalikan nila yun. Babalik at babalikan nila yun. Alagaan niyo yung 1 to 12 years old. We had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
So 1 to 12 years old. Full-time tayo as parents. Parang double time tayo.
For some parents, ako naririnig ko yung ibang parents na sabi nila na kailangan ma-establish natin yung friendship sa mga anak natin. Kailangan maramdaman nila na kaibigan nila tayo. Kailangan mapapagkatiwalaan nila tayo. For us, for me and Donna, we agreed na that is something na pwede mong i-establish later on. Not during that time. I mean, halimbawa, dadaanin ka sa iyak, magtatantrum sa halimbawa yung bata dahil meron siyang gusto na kanya. But it is our responsibility as parents to correct yung mali na nakikita natin. For us, hindi rin kasi masyadong, for us again, this is our own opinion, hindi rin masyadong tama yun na dahil gusto ko mapagkakatiwalaan ako ng anak ko, gusto ko mahalin niya ako, gusto ko parang friends kami. That's not yet the stage to establish friendship.
I think I won't call it friendship actually. I think what the term that you're looking into is kung kailan yung authority is somehow shared na. Nung una kasi 1 to 12 years old, you're the only sole authority over your child. Pero pagdating ng 13 years old onwards, you ang tawag doon, you ask them or you
As
their opinion also about a certain thing, and you make parang they become co-discerners and co-decision makers na rin. Of course, nandun ka pa rin. Kasi I believe, pag sinabi mong friend, sorry dad, pag sinabi mong friend, ibang role yung friends eh. You can never be totally friends with your children kasi mas mainam na ma-establish mo sa kanila na ang role mo is parent.
So that's for hanggang 12 years old. Yeah, after that, then yun, sinasabi na doon, encourage them to participate in decision making, ask them ano yung gusto nila, ano yung ayaw nila. Yan. So you're establishing relationship na during that time.
Ayun po.
Ako na pala. Sorry. Yun. Ano po yung specific roles as father and mother? Ano po yung ginagawa niya sa family?
Ako muna. As sa bahay, ako syempre yung taga-luto and I'm the one managing the household, and at the same time, I'm the one teaching the children in certain subjects sa homeschooling. Nung elementary, ako lang yung teacher. Pero nung medyo humirap na yung math at saka science, kailangan ko ng iba to. Kasi hindi na kaya ng powers ko. So, ayun. In terms of disciplining, kung sino yung disciplinarian sa mga bata, pareho naming role yon. So, kaya importante na in terms of certain stands at saka certain rules, dapat pareho kami or align kami. Kasi yung bunso namin, magaling yun eh. For example, humingi siya ng permission sa akin, I said no. Ang gagawin niya, tatakbo siya sa tatay niya. May one time, umuo siya. Tapos, nahuli ko, sabi ko, why are you using the computer? Dad says yes. But you asked permission from me first. I said no. But Dad said yes. So, in the end, ang magkaaway na, hindi kami ng anak ko, kami ng dalawa yung magkaaway. So, importante na aligned yung decision-making ninyo at saka yung stand niyo about a certain thing. Kasi sa aming household, pareho kaming disiplina. So, iyon yung role ko.
As a father, sa akin medyo challenging kasi all boys yung anak namin. And I guess, ganun din, no? Kung babae yung anak, meron ding pressure sa side ng mother. Tapos kung boys naman, may pressure naman on the side of the father. Why? Kasi we have to set good example to our children. As a father, eventually I envision them na, well, depende kung saan sila tatawagin ni God, no? If they will be called to religious life, sana nga. Magdadasal namin. Samahan niyo kami magdasal. If ever they will be called to religious life, syempre, kinakailangan pa rin na establish din yung father image for them. If they will be called for married life, all the more kasi I have to show a good example on how it is to become a husband, how to become a father. Nabanggit ni Donna kanina, no? So I'm parang single source income yung family namin. So I am the one who's mas nandun sa side ng bringing in the income for the family. So, isa yun sa mga example na kinakailangan kong ipakita rin sa mga anak ko na eventually if they will be called to become padre de pamilya, mga kanya-kanyang pamilya nila, kinakailangan matuto sila na ganito pala dapat. I agree with what Ants was saying kanina, no? Depende kung paano tayo lumaki. Lumaki ako na yung father ko, hindi kami masyadong close ng father ko. At lumaki kami sa lola. At yung both parents ko, they were working during that time na lumalaki ako. So wala akong masyadong talagang malalim na relationship with my father. And I'm not saying that my father is a bad person. Definitely not. He's a very good father. He's active sa church. He's a good provider for us na children. But ang siguro realization ko rin na coming from that experience, meron kasi akong, habang lumalaki ako, meron akong kinukwento kay Donna na sana meron akong parents na yung talagang nangungulit sa akin or nagsabi sa akin na hindi kaya mo yan or bakit hindi mo tignan yung ganitong klaseng course? Or halimbawa, why don't you take an entrance exam sa school na to? Wala kasi akong ganun. Parang lumaki kami ng kanya-kanyang diskarte. Ganun ang kinalakihan ko. And I realized as I become older, sabi kong ganun, sana pala merong nangulit sa akin na ganito. And yun na siguro yung, because of that realization, yun yung gusto kong i-share sa mga anak ko. Na not being too strict to them, but at the same time, trying to guide them kung papaano kaya. Kaya as much as possible kami, nag-spend time kami with the kids. Yung pumapalya pa rin kami dito, no? Pero we are trying to have hindi ko parang a date time with each one of them. So lalabas namin halimbawa si Dominic, tapos another day si Daniel, tapos another day si David, and bukod pa dun sa date naming dalawa. And yung mga date times na yon, malaking pressure siya actually kasi minsan merong ayaw sabihin yung mga, lalo yung mga binata ko, meron silang ayaw sabihin sa nanay nila. So sa akin nila sinasabi, you know? So precious moment siya. Yun, as a father, it's it's parang rewarding din yon, at the same time challenging for me.
Ayaw sabihin ko sino yung mga crushes nila. Kasi mas malakas daw akong mga Alaska. Kasi sa atin.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow, may ganun na, no? Binata na. Pero si Ate Donna, do you also do that? Date with the boys?
Usually it's more of them, especially yung mga teenagers. Kasi almost, hindi naman 24/7. From being nandito lang sa bahay, plus ako rin yung nagtuturo sa kanila. I think they have too much of my presence. And feeling ko nga, pag nag-iisa sila, yung boses ko yung naririnig nila sa isipan nila. So, pag ganun mas si Des yung who goes out with them. Tapos, if I go out with them, or although in between times like for example, most of the time I'm teaching David, ang maganda kasi sa homeschooling, like the textbooks that we grew up in, naka-incorporate kasi sa history books, sa science books, even sa math books nila, ang faith building, yung materials namin. So, yun na rin yung way ko or entry point ko to talk about things with them. So, in a way, I get to build relationship with them also. In homeschooling per se. Kasi yun nga, ang design ng homeschooling namin with the homeschooling provider is character formation. Kaya the more I am with them, the more we discuss about things about God, about faith, about character. Si Des naman na mas madalas lumalabas, especially nung wala pang pandemic, siya yung mas may lesser time with the boys. So it's him who goes out with them.
Yes. So doon tayo sa konting practical side naman. Some of us here actually kasi are wala pang newly married, yan. So wala pa kaming children. Pero it's good for us to prepare in advance. Can you share with us your experience of family planning or children spacing? Yung term ba yun? Yeah, paano nyo pilano?
Actually,
Or may plano ba na nangyari?
Actually, honestly, palpak kami doon sa family planning. So si Dominic was born and then the following year we had already another child. So para actually yung dalawa namin binata para silang
1 year, 3 months.
para silang people would always say na kambal silang dalawa. Because during the time we believe na in building our relationship at that time, if God blesses us with a child, that He blesses us with a child. Yun yung ano namin. Kaya yung gap nila talagang magkasunod lang. For us, it was actually a blessing. Kasi practical side, hindi na namin itinago yung mga baby things ng panganay namin. Dire-diretsyong gamit na. Sulit namin lahat yon. Tapos, nung natapos ng potty training yung pangalawa namin, parang libreng-libre na kami. However, God has His own plans. After 5 years, bigla na lang kami nagulantang again that there is the third one. Iniyakan ko talaga yon yung kay David kasi meron akong sariling preference noong time na yon. Pregnant ako na and I was crying and I was complaining to God. Sabi ko, Lord, dalawa lang. Tama na yung dalawa. Ang hirap ng buhay ngayon. As in, during the time na it was a difficult pregnancy for me kasi emotionally down talaga ako dun sa third child ko. Kasi ayoko. Pero dahil mas marunong ang Panginoon, nagkaroon kami ng ipinanganak si David. And David has been only but joy for the family and especially for me. Marami akong natutunan sa faith ko because of my youngest one. If I were, however, to look back and redo things on how to go about it, I believe in the wisdom of putting proper spacing. And of course, it involves self-control and things like that. Kasi sa paggawa ng pamilya, actually, I even went to a seminar with regards to this one. Ang natutunan ko doon, kaya importante yung spacing kasi kailangan mo rin kasing isipin yung kakayahan mo ng finances ninyo, yung sitwasyon nyo sa buhay, bago magkaroon ng baby, for example, or additional baby. There's this encyclical by Pope Francis, and it really touched me when he mentioned in one of the paragraphs there na mothers should preserve their joy. Importante na meron kang joy and that joy should be preserved while you're doing motherhood kasi ipinapasa mo, ikaw yung unang nagpapasa noon sa anak mo. How you would see the world is how your child would see the world. So kung puno ka ng galit at hinanakit at sama ng loob, yun actually yung naipapasa mo sa anak mo. So I think the spacing would have, kasi ang pagiging magulang, especially yung pagiging ina in my case, hindi siya short term lifetime siya. So ibig sabihin, kailangan mong alagaan yung sarili mo. Emotionally, physically, kailangan mong alagaan yung sarili mo. And the Pope is actually really encouraging that. Bakit? Kasi kailangan mong maipasa yung joy na meron ka sa anak mo. And if you do not have that joy, mahirap turuan ang anak mo na ang mundo ay isang blessed na place. And again, that spacing in between, proper spacing within each child na magkakaroon ka at yung number ng children that you will have would have a contribution to that. Ayun yung natutunan ko. Ikaw.
Grasya ng Panginoon. I think, pareho kami ni Donna na we believe on yun nga, yung proper spacing. Although, yun nga, mahirap sabihin in our case dahil hindi namin siya talagang nagawa. But if there is, and don't get me wrong, no regrets on that. Kasi nga, grasya talaga ng Panginoon. Pero naniniwala kami na merong magandang effect yung proper spacing sa mga anak. Since si Dominic and Daniel, ang gap kasi nila is 1 year and 3 months. Kami nare-realize namin ni Donna, no? Parang it would maybe it would be better kung halimbawa si Dominic, mabilis kasing tumanda si Dominic. At an early age, nakita na agad namin sa kanya yung maturity. Parang yung pagiging responsible niya. Why? Kasi siguro at an early age, sinasabihan na namin siya na as a kuya, look after your younger brother. Maliit pa lang sila nun. So siguro, habang lumalaki siya, na-instill sa kanya yung gano'n. There is good and not so good aspect of it. The good part is nakita namin yung pagiging responsible niya at saka yung pagiging matured in yung outlook niya sa life. But the not so good effect of that is parang napansin namin ni Donna na na-miss niya yung pagiging bata. Kasi yun nga, maliit pa lang siya, meron na agad siyang tinitignan na kapatid, na younger brothers. Meron agad responsibility. Tapos nung nga sinasabi namin na set a good example also to your younger brother. Ngayon, younger brothers. Yan. So, I think yun din makakatulong din yung proper gap in between kids. And for the brothers naman na nandito, whether you're already a father now or would be father in the years to come, challenging whether yung magiging anak nyo or ang anak nyo ngayon is a babae or lalaki. It is a God given responsibility as fathers na itaguyod natin yung family. Pero ang maipapayo ko is wag tayong kabahan kasi kami niniwala kami grasya talaga ng Panginoon. We're not even talking about the financial situation in the family, no? But basically we are talking as men na magli-lead ng family niya. So grasya ng Panginoon, kapit lang tayo palagi kay God.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So, I think yung next question ko, kasi you went through different stages of parenthood, no? Alin dun yung pinakamadali? Alin yung pinakamahirap na part on being a parent? Kasi you already have a 17-year-old kid. So, I'm assuming you've been through majority of the stages. Yeah.
Each stage has its own challenges. Mahirap nung first time ka naging parent. Of course, there's a challenge in that. There's difficulty in that. Pero yung time na yun kasi medyo malakas pa yung katawan mo, hopeful ka pa sa mundo, hopeful pa rin naman. If you would ask me, I think the most difficult stage would be when the children reaches teenage life. Kung titingnan niyo yung development ng bata, sa teenage life kasi, yan na yung we're talking about hormones and all. We know that, right? Na pag nagbabago yung hormones, ayan na, pati yung attitude nagbabago. Lahat ng sabihin mong gawin nila, yung opposite actually nun yung gagawin nila. And that in itself is difficult. But why is it more difficult, especially for women actually, pati pala for men? Kasi usually in a household, pag nag-hit ng teenage years ang mga anak, ang mga parents nasa midlife. And the parents are going through midlife crisis. Yan. Depende pa rin po ang pag-go through ng midlife crisis sa background natin. Midlife kasi is like parang second adolescence ang nangyayari dyan. So yung teenagers, tumataas yung hormones, yung mga midlifers naman, nababawasan ng hormones. This is more difficult from what I have heard kapag babae ang anak. Kasi yan yung menstrual period ng babae. Tapos yung nanay naman nasa midlife. So talagang fireworks yan ng hormones. Sa parent side at saka sa teenager side. So, ang bata gusto niyang maintindihan ka, tapos as a midlife, you're also going through certain things. However, it should not be seen as parang all gloomy. Actually, kapag may awareness ka about what to go through ng midlife, it's easier to go through it. Pag na-pinpoint mo, especially kung ano yung mga coping mechanisms mo, yung faith mo, husband mo, family mo, it's easier to, mahirap siya, but kahit pa paano, it's manageable, you can go through it gracefully. Kung pwedeng mangyari yun. So for me, yun, you know, as a parent in your midlife, you're going through something, pero as a parent, you still have to be there to understand your teenage children who is more of a math problem for me at this stage na hindi ko maintindihan. So yun. But the thing is, it's also during this stage that the grace of God is rich. When one of the things also that I have learned, that when you guys decide to become husband and wife, the graces of God is complete. Yung grace to be faithful sa husband mo, nandun kasama dun sa grasya na yun, ang grasya ng parenting. Kaya, it's not something to be scared of. Yes, it's hard, pero the grace of God is always present.
Yung pinakamahirap at saka pinakamadaling part, nagbabago siya eh. Parang everyday pahirap na pahirap. Hindi, pero siguro yun nga yung sinasabi ni Donna, dahil grasya siya ng Panginoon. And depende kung saan ka titingin. For me, no, like I remember nung time na lumalaki na yung mga bata, siguro nasa mga 12 years old. So meron kaming 12, meron kaming 10 na mag-11 na rin during that time. I remember kasi habang lumalaki sila, buhat-buhat ko sila. At dahil ako yung tatay, ako yung mas madalas na nagbubuhat sa kanila. So pag gagala kami, halimbawa, so buhat-buhat kong ganyan. Tapos kapag nakatulog lalo, habang naglalakad kami, buhat-buhat ko pa rin. Scoliotic pa ako. So masakit sa likod. Pero sabi kong ganun, nung time na yun, I was telling myself, di bale, pag naglalakad na yung mga bata,
It will be easy.
it will be easier. Sabi kong ganun, a lot easier. So nung wala na akong binubuhat, ang sarap ng feeling. Tapos nakikita ko sila tumatakbo ganyan. Tapos magkahawak na lang kami ng kamay ni Donna, naglalakad, pa-swing-swing habang pa well, the seashore. So parang sabi ko, depende kung saan ka titingin. But during that time also na sila nagtatakbo-takbo na rin na ganyan, ibang challenges na naman yung hinaharap namin. Ngayon, wala na akong binubuhat na bata, pero pwede na nila akong buhatin kung gusto nila. Iba rin yung challenge. Iba rin yung mga challenges na pinopost ngayon ng stage kung nasaan sila. Like, sinabi nga ni Donna, ito na yung stage na nagkakaroon ng mga crushes. Yan. So, paano natin i-manage to? Ganyan. O yung anak mo, mag-isa doon, humingiti. Ano gagawin natin? So, yan. Again, depende kung saan ka titingin. So, ayun na lang. Parang, I know na kung paano ako minahal ng Panginoon, mamahalin din sila ng Panginoon. Kung ano man yung mga pinagdaanan ko nung ako ay nagbibinata, I know marami rin ako mga challenges na dinaanan noon. At kung dadaanan din yun ng mga anak ko, I know na faithful din si God sa kanila. So, yun lang, as parents, ilagay natin siguro sa tamang perspective yung kung saan tayo titingin. Kung palagi tayo nakatingin doon sa mga difficult moments, baka frustrating yung pagiging parents para sa atin. Pero if we will look at the good side of it, baka fulfilling naman yung pagiging parents.
Siguro to add to what Des is saying, another example would be during this time of pandemic. So for some households, talagang parenting is very difficult, especially pag may teenager ka na gustong lumabas ng bahay, makapag-meet sa friends, kasi yun yung need nila at that stage eh. hirap sila kasi hindi sila makalabas. They feel isolated. Tapos, pero nandun din naman yung blessing naman na because of the pandemic also, you get to spend a lot of time with your family. So depende lang talaga sa how you will see things. Pero kung halimbawang madagdag ko lang na it's a difficult time, the pandemic talaga is difficult for us as individual and as parents, it's very much difficult also kasi bigla kang, like for example, parang feeling namin minority kami as homeschoolers. Ngayon, lahat na nag-homeschooling. The thing is, for us, it was a choice ever since. Yung ibang parents, naging homeschooler sila all of a sudden. They did not plan for it. So, they were forced into it. And alam ko, mahirap na adjustment yun, lalo na kung both parents are working. Kaya saludo ako sa mga yon. So, it's not only in the stages ng mga bata kung anong edad sila, but also in the situation where we are living in right now. That also makes it more challenging. But the thing is yun na nga, kung kailan mahirap, siya tayo mas maraming natututunan at siya natin mas nakikita yung kamay ng Panginoon.
Well said, well said. Sige. I think this is my last question, but if the other participants here would want to ask something, we can give time later or you can key in the chat box na your question. Sige, yung question ko kasi majority of us here at the Donna and Kedes are actually newly married and majority of us do not have children yet. Siguro I think top of mind for all of us, how do we prepare ourselves for parenthood?
Ayun. Alam nyo, hindi namin talaga naisip yun nung una. Parang, ano ba? Actually, when we started to become parents, we just thought of ipipiin natin yung personal, evangelization and the thing. But it's more than that, and as a parent, it's very different. Magandang paghandaan, magandang mag-aral as early as now. Habang wala pa, it's actually a blessing that there's still this window period na bata pa sila or hindi pa dumadating yung blessing sa mga household natin, maganda mag-prepare. One way that you can prepare, of course, is going through parenting courses kasi iba kasi syempre yung kinamulatan natin sa mga, kagaya na sabi ko kanina, we grew up in different households and different households have different ways of raising their children. Mas madidiscern mo ng husay pag naririnig mo from seasoned parents na how they raise their children. So marami naman ng ganun sa community. I believe they would be very much willing to share kung ano yung experience nila. One way also is through certain organizations na ang tribe talaga, ang trust nila is on developing family life. I think you have heard of Center for Family Ministry or CFAM. It is stationed in Ateneo. Sila ay divided into certain hubs. They call it hubs. Merong hubs for yung mag-aasawa pa lang. So sila yung nag-handle ng mga pre-K na, mga K na, ganun. Yung sa mga bagong ikasal na preparation. Meron din silang parenting hub. This parenting hub, they regularly give seminars and talks. You can actually invite them also to give talks kung gusto nyo. Lalo na that the present head ng parenting hub ng CFAM is from community also. Si Danny D and si Lala D. I think they're more active in BCBP. BCBP. Pero of course, they're very much willing to share their expertise also and their experiences as parents. If, for example, meron concerns with regards, halimbawa, nagkaka-struggle kayo with regards to parenting or being parents, they are also open to counseling for couples also with regards to parenting and even before ka magkaanak kung meron kayong mga concerns regarding that. As early as now, maganda rin tingnan kung ano yung background nyo. Awareness is actually a very powerful key in parenting. Pag alam mo may tendency ka, for example, maging super strict. or meron kang certain insecurities, parang sa mag-asawa, bago kayo mag-asawa, mas magaling nang ma-resolve mo yung mga issues mo. It's the same thing with parenting. Bago dumating ang mga babies natin sa buhay natin, magandang ma-resolve natin itong mga bagay na to. So awareness is very much a powerful thing. And yung grasya ng Panginoon also is a powerful thing in resolving these things. Yun. Yun yung para sa akin.
How about you, Kuya Des?
How about me? By the way, kaya maraming alam si Donna sa CEPAM. She just graduated sa anong course mo? Family Ministry. So kung if you need somebody to promote ko sa Donna. No pressure. Hindi, yun nga, if there's a way for her or for us to help out, then yeah, please feel free to contact us. Kaya marami alam si Donna about CEPAM. I totally agree with Donna. For some of the couples here na wala pang anak, this is a very good opportunity. Kami na may anak na, sometimes talagang yung mga personal issues will still get in the way. Yun pa lang, hirap na talaga kami. What more kapag meron pa kayong mga chikiting na kinakailangan ding attendan. So during this time, take this opportunity to resolve issues. Hindi naman mauubos yun. Kasi yun nga, magkaiba tayo ng pinanggalingan. Kaming dalawa ni Donna, sobrang dami namin differences. The way we grew up, magkaibang talaga agad. Location-wise, magkaiba rin. Dito siya sa Batangas, ako na sa Maynila. Iba yung kung paano siya pinalaki ng mga magulang niya, iba rin ako kung paano ako pinalaki. So dahil nung nag-i-start pa lang kami magkaroon ng family, meron na agad mga differences. Issue talaga siyang malaki. Na akala, minsan hindi it's not about right or wrong. Minsan it's about what is proper or which is better. Minsan pareho naman kaming tama na gustong ipa-implement. Pero ano ba yung need nung bata? At the end of the day, kung meron kayong mga unresolved issues, kayong dalawang mag-asawa, mahirap din for the kids na i-absorb kung ano dapat yung makuha niya from his or her parents. So, yun, awareness, unang-una. Tapos, take this time to really set your mind na sino ba yung may nag-share kanina na I saw my mga pamangkin while they're growing up. Ganyan. Malaking malaking tulong yun. Kasi ako rin ganun I'm the youngest of 6 siblings. And lumalaki ako meron na akong mga pamangkin na inaalagaan din. So, makakatulong yun. Kasi nakita mo na kung paano pinalaki yung mga pamangkin mo. Kung ikaw mismo hands-on na tito or tita na nagpapalaki rin ng pamangkin mo, practice na rin yun para sa'yo. Tapos, prepare well by, again, yung finances kasi since we're talking about practical things also, finances is also a factor to consider. It's not everything, but it is something that would affect yung family nyo. So kapag yung finances hindi masyadong maayos, magandang opportunity to kung halimbawa maliliit pa yung mga bata or wala pang anak yung couples. This is a very good opportunity to look into that also kasi it would entail money rin to also to finance yung paglaki ng bata.
Siguro to add, and I think this is something that is very important, very basic and yet very important, would be nourish your relationship as husband and wife. Sabi nga nila, the greatest gift that you can give to your children is your strong marriage. Kaya dapat yun, as early as now, yung mga ayusin nyo at maging maganda sana yung build memories, good memories with your spouse. With that kasi strong na foundation yun para sa mga anak nyo sa pagpapalaki. So, yun.
Very well said. I know a lot of us are I'm seeing the brothers and sisters really looking intently as you were sharing. And marami talaga kaming natutunan. Sige, I would like to, I'm sure a lot of you have question, but we only have a short time. So, but I would like to give chance to those participants who want to ask a question to our speaker. Pwede kayong mag-unmute or pwede kayong mag-raise ng hand or mag-chat. Pinapatanong po. Ang kapitbahay namin.
Kaibigan
Pwede
ko
yan.
ako. Unang kaibigan ko.
Yeah, meron ba tayong question? By the way, Ian had to excuse himself kasi hindi na kaya ng he's not a night person. He wakes up at 3 a.m. So,
Wow.
hindi na niya kaya pagdating ng ganitong oras. Sige, meron ba tayong question? Or, yan. Sabi ko na nga ba eh. Sige. Simulan nyo na, Ants and Tin.
Ayan. May makatulog kasi yung kapitbahay namin.
Yan.
Nakapatanong kasi nila kung ano. Kapag daw as parents, especially in the early stage of your life, as you want to grow your children, how you handle yung, syempre meron kayong pinag-usapan at with Des at Donna on how you want to parang paano palalakihin yung mga bata, ano yung mga i-learn nyo. How you handle or if you have experience na your parents in both sides have their own parang parang let's say may ganito tapos iba yung gusto iba yung ini-implement ng parents sa ganyan. How if ever meron kayo, how you deal with that? I mean, paano nyo inaano yung ganung situation na halimbawa sa inyo pag nasa bahay kayo bawal tong ganito ganyan pero pagdating sa nasa mga lola at lola everything is pwede parang so yung mga ganung type.
Ang tanong pala ay, ano daw ang grandparenting style?
How to deal with grandparenting style, ganun. Something like that. Kaya, sa dilan.
Sige, salamat sa question. And naging, hindi naman naging issue, but we made a decision, kaming dalawa ni Donna, na kami ang masusunod. Hindi nyo talaga ma-avoid yun na iba yung opinion ng parents ng mother, iba yung opinion ng parents ng father or ng husband. But the end of the day, nag-agree kami ni Donna na kami ang masusunod. Marami kaming sinimulan na family namin ang nagsimula compared to nawala dun sa aming family of origin. So sa mga kanya-kanya naming pamilya. Like for example, to be very specific, when we started homeschooling, very challenging time yon para sa amin kasi walang nag-homeschool sa both sides namin. And dami naming narinig like ano na mangyayari sa mga anak nyo? Yan. O kaya palakihin nyo nga ng tama yung mga anak nyo. Yan, mga ganun. So kami naman dahil mga first time din homeschoolers kami, kahit pa paano kinakabahan din kami na tama ba tong desisyon natin? Hanggang ngayon tinatanong namin yun. Tama ba desisyon natin? So, but at the end of the day, siguro yun yung masasabi ko, no? Dapat klaro sa inyong mag-asawa na kayo ang masusunod. And nag-agree din kami ni Donna na kapag yung parents niya, halimbawa, ang magsasalita ng against doon sa decision namin, siya yung mag-handle nun. Pag parents ko ang nagsalita against our decision, ako ang mag-handle nun. At tapos, kapag halimbawa, nandoon kami sa parents ko, I have to make my parents feel na suportado ko ang asawa ko. Ano man ang sabihin nyo, siya yung kakampihan ko. At ganun din siya. kahit na halimbawa, mali halimbawa ako, mali yung opinion ko. Decision namin yan na baback upan niya ako. Pag uwi na lang sa bahay, lagot ako. Ganun. Pero sa harap ng bawat partido, dapat solid kayong mag-asawa. Kaya walang pwedeng gumalaw kay Donna kapag nandoon siya sa amin dahil alam nila na lagot sila sa akin, parang ganun. And ganun din si Donna.
So I think what he's saying is dapat klaro muna sa inyo kung ano yung standard. I think that's number one. And then number two, how to communicate it with your family of origin. So sa amin, ang bridge, actually, sa kanila ang bridge ay si Des. Sa family ko, family of origin ko, si Des pa rin actually yung bridge. Mas love siya ng nanay ko. But ang blessed naman kami kasi you have to recognize first na yung grandparents naman, hindi naman sila villains or hindi sila yung kaaway. They also just want what is best for your children. And in having that in mind, pag na-explain naman sa kanila ng husay, madali naman silang mag-give way sa kung ano yung, basta kita lang nila na desidido kayo sa desisyon nyo at alam nyo kung anong ginagawa nyo. It's not just like na parang naisip nyo lang out of nowhere na, ito yung uso ngayon, sige. Pero pag na-explain mo sa kanila ng husay, kita naman nila na may katuturan yung explanation mo, they will support it. Actually ngayon, yung mother ko she's already okay with homeschooling. Tapos natutuwa nga siya kasi sabi niya, ang gagaling ng mga bata. Siyempre, ipapakita ko lang at ipipresenta ko lang yung magagandang grades ng mga bata para mapuri. Pero honestly, kasi since ang focus namin is character formation, over the years pa lang naman kasi mas makikita yun sa mga bata. And I think nag-bear fruit naman yun. At ang una nakakapansin, it would be the grandparents also. So, at kung makakarinig kayo kung sina-challenge nila yung certain decision nyo, pag meron namang maganda, ang nakakatuwa, naririnig mo rin naman sa kanila na, tama yan o maganda yan. They would even recommend it dun sa mga kapatid mo pa. Ayun.
Let me add one more para lang mas klaro, no. The decision, for example, not to live below our means. It's a decision naming dalawa ni Donna. Parang siguro sa family of origin namin, hindi sila masyadong agree on that. Kasi lalo na pag nakikita nila yung mga bata na gumagawa ng chores, parang kawawa naman, ganun, kawawa naman sila, kawawa naman yung mga bata na nahihirapan. Ganun. But it's a decision naming dalawa and meron kaming reason why. Ngayon, yung mga bata, kapag umalis kami, halimbawa, at na-late kami ng pag-uwi, di sila magugutom kasi marunong silang magluto. Marunong silang magsaing. Marunong silang maglinis ng bahay, ganyan. So, naka-incorporate yun. Kumbaga may purpose. And yun nga, dapat klaro sa inyong mag-asawa. Hindi naman I'm not saying na hindi importante kung ano yung sasabihin ng iba, no? But siguro what really counts would be ano yung decision nyo as parents of yung mga children niya.
And if there is a situation, for example, hindi mo napigilan, tapos yung mga bata, for example, bawal ng masyadong matamis, tapos the parents gave sweets, ganan. Hindi rin maganda na right there and then papahiyain mo yung mother-in-law mo o yung nanay mo before the child, no? Pero sasabihin ko na lang sa bata, you say thank you. Pero pagdating sa bahay, we center kung bakit na, kanina you got these sweets from your grandmother. Did you say thank you? Papansinin mo rin kasi yung magandang action ng grandparent. It's from there, pero we have certain rules about sweets. Sasabihin ko, hindi yan pwedeng kainin ng sabay-sabay. You share with your mom. Parang gano'n. Biglang gano'n. Kaya pala kinausap mo na. Hindi, ang point ko is you talk to your children pag just in case may situation na medyo nasingitan ka. Ayun. And to explain again to the child kung bakit. Alam nyo, ang maganda, halimbawa, yung sa mga anak namin, eventually, kasi dahil klaro sa kanila, sila na mismo yung humihindi sa grandparents nila. Kasi halimbawa yung mother ko, halimbawa may premyo, oh, how much do you want? May ganun na kaagad yung lola, ano? Sabi ko, bakit ganun nung anak ako? Hindi ako tinatanong ng ganun. So, sasabihin, oh, bibigyan kita ng money. Alam nila na yung hard work nila doesn't deserve monetary value. So sabihin, no Lola, you don't have to. Sa kanila na nanggagaling dahil klaro sa mga.
Nax, very well raised talaga ang mga boys.
May kalokohan din sila.
Ay na oil. Yes, sige. So I hope that was clarified. May pa-follow up ka pa ba, Ants?
Wala na. So, thank you. Yun yung mga somehow concern ko. Advance mag-isip. Pero, kasi may mga ganong, ngayon pa lang eh. I mean, experiencing a lot of, mga questions, challenges na about our decisions, parang ganyan. I think everyone knows naman. Pero, yan. Sigurado, pagdating sa mga ganong, bagay. Meron yan. So,
Mas madaming questions.
marami. Sige, thank you, Ate Don at Kuya Des.
Thank you. Thank you din, Ants and Dean, for the question. Meron pa ba? I think we have room for one more. Kung meron pa. May tanong pa yung kapitbahay ng kaibigan ng katrabaho nyo. I think okay na ba? Going once? Going twice? Sobrang linaw daw kasi talaga ng explanation ng Team De La Cruz, no? I think it had been a very, very insightful, short, no? Sobrang bitin, pero expect to have more of this. And I'm sure Ate Donna and Kuya Des would be very willing to help us, especially as we go along. Iba kasi in theory when you're listening to it, and I'm sure iba din kapag nandun ka na. The reality bites, strikes when you're on it talaga. Pero I agree that it's good that as early as now we are preparing emotionally, spiritually, in our relationship as husband and wife. It's foundational for us to be good parents in the future. So we would want to give our thanks to Kuya Des, Ate Donna, thank you so much for the information that you've shared, your experience, 17 years worth of parenting experience that I'm sure we all benefited a lot from it. And we hope to hear more from you soon. Hindi lang ito yung first and last topic natin on parenthood, but we want to hear more of your experiences next time. No? I saw nga na Ate Donna is parang nag-post ka nga yung sa CFAM. No? And it's good because that shows that what you're saying really has a foundational basis. No? So, yeah, na-miss namin daw kayo, sabi ni Van. Thank you so much. And we're thankful that your family is safe already and healthy. We pray for your continuous recovery. So let's give a round of applause naman. Virtual clap to our guest speaker for tonight. Thank you so much. Yeah.